Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the car boot crafter, and because it's winding down to the autumn, I thought I'd get some leaves made for some autumn projects. So I mean, that's what I'm in the craft room doing, but I thought I might as well put the camera on and show you how I'm making them. So let me just grab a sheet of paper. And I'll make this a big one. I wouldn't normally do it this size, but I'll make it a big one so that you can see what I'm doing. And I've got a permanent marker there, a nice black felt tip, so I can show you where all the creases and everything are that I'm making. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut yourself a square. And as we know, this should make me a good size square, so a nice big square. The nice thing about this project is you don't have to be too exact, and I have been known to even just go like that and get myself a square, because that's good enough for this project. But I'll save that one actually and do one afterwards. So you need yourself a square or something that's fairly close to a square, and all you're going to do, so ignore that crease that I did just to make my square. All you're going to do is fold it in half edge to edge, and like I said, you don't have to be too exact with this project. And you're going to crease this. I'm going to use my bone folder because I always use my bone folder, but you don't have to even use your bone folder. Once you've folded it in half like that, oh look, that's not even straight. I'm not going to worry about it. You're going to fold it in half again. All we have to do is make sure that these edges, these creases line up, and you've got a nice sharp point on that corner. That's what we have to worry about the most. Okay, so you've got your square, you folded it in half, you folded it in half again, and now, so this is my open end, this is my creased end. It's this point, this corner, my creased corner, that I need to worry about. What I want to do now is fold my square in half, point to point, but making sure that that's where my crease starts. So again, making sure that's a nice sharp point. Fold that in half and get yourself a nice sharp diagonal crease there, like that. Then open it up again, not all the way, just to that point. Okay, so what you've got now is you've got a mountain, a valley. No, you haven't. You've got a mountain, and a valley. So a mountain is one where you put it down on your paper, on your desk like that, and it sticks up. A valley is where it goes down. So as it says, it's a valley, and that's a mountain, and that's another one. What we want is we want to make this one a mountain as well. So easy peasy, flip it over and just fold it back on itself along that crease line like that. And then when we flip it over, we've got all our crease lines want to stand up, and sometimes they even push your paper up like that. So all your folds are like that. I'll grab my my pen and the ruler so I can show you where my crease marks are, because I know in this light, which isn't very good this evening, this light isn't brilliant. So there's my creases, and my pen's not very good at the minute either, is it? Let's go all the way out. So there's my creases so far that I've got, and it is double. Okay, so it is still double paper. So we've got these. So what we want to do now is we want to create valleys in between them. So I'm going to take this mountain fold and I'm going to fold it across towards this middle one, but not all the way. What I don't want to do is bring it around to there. That's too close. This is where, so that's our open end, this is our creased end. So I'm going to bring it round and I'm going to stop around about there. So if I just make a mark on here, you'll be able to see hopefully a bit better. That's where my crease is. Okay, so that's where I've made my fold. So I'm using my bone folder to reinforce that crease mark. So I haven't gone all the way to there. I've gone to there, and it doesn't matter. You can go to here, you can go closer. I just choose to go round about there. And what you've then created now is you've created a valley fold between the two there. Okay, so that's what we've got. Next thing we want to do is we want to do the same again, create another fold in the middle here by taking this line, this fold across towards that one. But again, we're not going to go all the way across. We're just going to go towards it, and I'm stopping there. Again, it doesn't matter. We're making leaves. Leaves are all different size and shapes, so it doesn't matter. We don't have to be exact. So now we've got a valley fold there. So we're looking like that. And I'm going to do the same again. So this crease mark, this was one of our original crease marks. This one I'm going to bring towards that crease mark there. So that's where my paper's open. I'm going to bring it towards this crease mark here. But again, I'm not going to bring it all the way across. Now with this one, you might want to stop further back, just because of later on when we're cutting it, you don't want to be going too close. So I'm just flipping it over to reinforce those new crease marks. And I'll put a line in where our new mark is. Let's have a look at that. Put the lid on. So what you've got is you've got that now going on. So you've got a mountain into a valley, up into another mountain, into another valley, another mountain, valley, and that will come up as well. So you end up with something that looks like that. You want a nice big triangle on the top like that. This is where we're going to start from, and then they're all going down like that. Okay, so this is my open end, this is my folded point. Grab yourself a good pair of sharp scissors, because we're going to go through four or six layers of paper depending on how you've made these folds. Okay, so grab your scissors, and what you're going to do is, let me bring this in again. You're going to start on this edge, so you've got this big triangle on the top. You're going to start on this edge here, this creased edge. This is my open edge here. So my open edge is there. We're going to start on my creased edge, and we're going to cut a curve heading towards about a third of the way up from this point here. So there's about halfway, so I'm just going to go a little bit below that, and I'm putting a mark there. I wouldn't normally put a mark there, I'm just putting it there so that you can see where I'm heading for. Okay, now before you start cutting, what you want to do is think what sort of leaf you want. So to get a long thin leaf like this one, you'll start at the point or just below the point. To get for something that's a little bit fatter and a bit more like a maple leaf, you'll start further down, because this is going to be your this top. This is going to be this leaf, this part of the leaf. So the further down you start, the smaller the leaf will be, but the wider and squatter it will be. The closer to this edge, to the open point, the longer and thinner your leaf will be. So I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm going to start about here, because I don't want it too long and thin, but I don't want it too wide either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting. I'm heading towards that point there, and I'm going to do it in a curve. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge. I'm going to stop. In fact, I'm going to stop just about where that dot ends, so this side of that dot or thereabouts. So let me start cutting. And I'm heading towards that dot, going through the thick paper, and then I'm going to stop. Once I've cut this piece, this crease, so you can see it's coming away. Once I've gone past that crease, I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to turn it, and I'm coming to this point here. So this is another open end. I'm going to start cutting from up this end. And I'm just cutting a very thin, very narrow piece until I get to the point I was heading for with my first cut. And then I'm going to stop. And then I'm just going to join them both up. So I can cut them away. So I don't need that bit, I can throw that bit away. Now this is where the magic happens. It looks a bit odd, a bit strange, but what we're going to do is pop your finger in there. You're just going to open it up. So unfold it and open it up, and you have yourself a leaf shape. So do you see what I mean? The higher you are on this one, the longer it is. Had I started at the top, that would have been even longer. If I'm not happy with that curve, I can fold it back up, and I can come back in with my scissors, and I can take that curve out, make it sharper if I want to, like that. And then open it up again. I probably wouldn't do this so much on the smaller ones because you've got less distance to play with. And there we have, obviously I've got all the pen marks on there, but there we have a leaf. So I'm going to pop that to one side, and I'm going to grab that. Where's that little square that I had? So that I'm going to use it on my little square. So this is probably about the smallest I would go for a leaf, and I would always use paper rather than cards because it is thick to cut through. So again, fold it in half, turn it, fold it in half again. So I'm just going to use my scissors to get that sharp crease. So this is where all my creases are joined. So that's the centre part. So I'm going to make sure I fold from there diagonally. So you see that's not a square, that's a bit of a rectangle. So that's what I mean, you don't have to be too worried about a perfect square because most of it gets cut away anyway. And you can tell even more from that that cut that it's not a perfect square. So open it up again. And I want all my folds coming up, so I'm going to fold that one back, so we end up with a mountain, 3 mountain folds. And then I'm going to fold this fold across towards my middle one, but not going all the way there. And again, I'm not worrying about the distance, how far across have I gone far enough, have I gone too far. Then again, this crease towards this crease. So, and with the little ones, I do find it easier to do it in my hands rather than on the table or the bench. So we've got our 2 mountain folds, and then the last one is here. So again, I'm just going to do it in my hands, making sure that I leave plenty over. Like that, getting my bone folder in there so that it's all well creased. You don't have to, you can use something or you can just use your fingers. So I end up with that shape again with my big triangle at the top. It's not a true square, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. In fact, I'm going to cut that piece off so I don't get distracted by it when I do the rest of the cutting. So this is my open end here. This is my crease, so I'm going to start my cut on the crease, heading towards here, heading towards this line here. And I haven't been very sharp with that, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to head over there. So again, taking my scissors, I'm going to cut down, head towards about a third of the way from that point, going through 1, going through 2, where it gets a bit tight. And you have to be really careful not to go all the way across, otherwise you don't get your stem. Coming to this end, so again, this is the open end here. So I'm going to cut a very narrow piece up there, and then just a couple of little snips to get it there. I can discard that piece. And then I'm going to open it up like that. And let's see the magic. And there we have a rather long, thin leaf shape. And what you can do is, because these ones are folding up, on this side they're folding down, so you can just go back in and fold them back on themselves, so that they're all sticking up. But these folds help to give it a you know, like a leaf shape, a bit of a 3D leaf shape to them. So a little bit of fiddling with that one. So the points, you want the points, the creases going towards the points, you want them to fold upwards. And the ones that are going between the points, you want them to fold downwards. So those are our valleys. And there you have it. Another little leaf. So there you go. More leaves. So I'm going to make some more. I think I might make them a little bit less long. I think I prefer this sort. That's a bit more almost maple leaf like, so I'm going to have to come down a little bit further with my cuts, perhaps even more on this one than I did. So the nice thing is you can fold them back up, get your scissors out and come in again. So I'm going to curve that round even more like that, get rid of that. And that one becomes a smaller, more squat leaf like that one. That one's a long, thin one. So you get the drift, and you can use any thin paper. I mean, these are vellum. These are a very I don't know what sort of paper they are. They're not very smooth. They're quite a rough paper. These ones are a much smoother paper. But yeah, any paper will do to make these, and you could do them plain like I have, or you can do them you know, from patterned paper as well. Anyway, I'm going to make some more, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.